And I'll put the question to you in terms of the country you do understand quite well, having been born there, Pakistan. In 2022, when the Russia-Ukraine war breaks out, the prime minister at the time, Imran Khan, says that he's going to remain neutral in this war. U.S. wanted Pakistan producing shells for Ukraine. U.S. wanted Russia to be isolated. The State Department told him that they found that to be offensive, and they called it a posture of aggressive neutrality, which is kind of a bizarre term to begin with, and told the ambassador that if a vote of no confidence was held and Imran Khan was removed from power, relations between the United States would be better, and quote, all would be forgiven, was the phrase that this one diplomat, I think you know Don Lowe, used. Since then, the military has basically taken over a dictatorial control in Pakistan, and the U.S., through Biden and then through Trump, completely behind them. Like no pretense of support for Pakistani democracy. So that's more of a mask-on American power moment. So is that who we are globally? Like, at what point do we say that the United States is this is just what we do? Sometimes we do it politely behind the scenes. Sometimes we do it with guns. Sometimes we do it with a Delta Force. Sometimes we do it with an occupation force. How have you kind of confronted that as somebody who has kind of grown up in that place where there's this belief among the Foreign Service that we are, with the Peace Corps, we're living up to these values around the world? Like, are we?
So, well, we're certainly not at this particular moment, and we've never been perfect by any means. But I do believe that if you talk to Foreign Service officers and others, representing the United States around the world, supporting the principles of human rights, rule of law, freedom, and democracy is an important part of what we stand for. And I would argue it's a very important part of why the United States does have influence. Now, I know you did a lot of reporting on Pakistan. You're absolutely right. If you look at Pakistan today, it's hard to call it a democracy. They have the elements of a democracy, but in terms of how it's functioning, so much of the control right now, as you know, is in the Army Chief of Staff. And, I've written to the Pakistani ambassador here. He didn't love my letter, pointing out that, we need free and fair elections in Pakistan. So there's another example where we are saying one thing and doing another, although I will say with the Trump administration, they've thrown entirely overboard. Yeah. The idea that we represent these values. I mean, they think they're archaic. In my view, it's not that it's that we should do better, actually, in implementing those values as part of our foreign policy. I mean, we see double standards across the board. I mean, supporting the Netanyahu government, throughout the war in Gaza, even as they violated not just international law, but American law. And the Biden administration and the Trump administration as well did nothing about it. So that's a double standard. And that undermines our strength around the world, especially in the global South. But now you have an administration that just very explicitly has thrown the whole idea that America stands for these principles overboard in favor of, as Steve Miller said the other day, we got the power, we'll do what we want.